Hey everybody, this is Andrew DeFranza. I'm not sure if people can see this yet. This is our first try in this direction, so we're gonna give it a shot and see what happens. Having a little tech trouble today, but we're giving it a shot. So Andrew DeFranza here from Goat Hill, and I'm delighted to be with you all today. This is our first attempt at this after a couple technical glitches, and hopefully you're able to see this. We're going to give it a try, and it's something we might do again. So first things first that I really want to convey to you all is we'd like to take a moment to remember our friend and board member, Don Kelly, who passed away just a few days ago on Sunday night. So we're really thinking of his family and him right now. So I'm going to take my hat off here and give Don a little shout out, remembrance moment of respect. A lot of you knew Don and appreciated him, and we'll have more to say about that in some future written communication, but we're really grateful for him and appreciate him and his service, and it does clarify things significantly for us. So we're here today from Harborlight Community Partners, and we want to give you some feedback and some update on some things that we're working on, especially related to the COVID-19 response. We're going to cover three things today for you: resident safety, what's going on with our real estate development portfolio, and ways that you can help us. Most of this is on our website. If you are curious, let's see if this will show up here. There you go. That's the site. And you can check that out, harborlightcp.org, and there's a COVID-19 response right on that site if you want to know more about what it is that we're doing. So first, our highest priority is that we want to talk a little about resident safety and some of the things that we're doing in that regard. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my line staff who are amazing and are doing an excellent job and are really doing wonderful work taking care of the residents. We're grateful for them. And you all are doing magic out there, and it's not something I'm going to forget anytime soon. It's a difficult time, and part of what's amazing about this is seeing how people are drawing together and how we're going to get to the other side of this, which we certainly will. Okay, so a few things that we're doing here. As some of you may know, we serve hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of seniors in our buildings all across the North Shore. And our highest priority at this point is to make sure that they're as safe as possible, to do what we can within our power and our authority to keep them safe. The goal is to keep as many people safe as possible within what we can do. We're trying to do everything we can do to make sure people stay alive. That's the bottom line, and that's what we're after. Some of the things that we're doing are difficult, as with a lot of institutions, about ways that we're handling procedures, but that's our goal, is to keep everybody alive and safe and well supplied. So I'm going to tell you about some of the things that we're doing right now. We are encouraging various healthy procedures per the CDC guidelines and the guidelines from public officials about social distancing for all of our residents. We have changed a lot of our protocols and procedures. We've restricted gatherings in the common areas of the buildings, which is really, it's painful for somebody like myself, who for years we've been trying to build community, and now we're telling people to stay away and keep their distance from each other and not occupy the common rooms. I'm promising once this is over, we will have lots of parties and we will open the common rooms back up, and people will be able to access those there. But at the moment, the safest thing we can do is close those and keep people away from each other. I know for some of our residents that's painful, and they're upset about that because they want to spend time together, which I honor and love. At the moment, what I would say to you is, if you need to be angry with someone about that, you're welcome to be angry at me that we did those things, and we're doing them to try to keep you safe. And that's the bottom line. We are focusing a lot of our energy on maintenance changes and protocol changes, which I'm going to tell you about, and on making sure people have access to food and to medical care. to provide safety for them. Residents have been communicated with frequently over the last 2 weeks. They've been called multiple times by our staff. Also, if residents are participating with senior care, which is one of our major regional supportive service programs and partners for home health care, they've also been contacted by senior care. For those who are involved with element care, particularly those at Harborlight House, they've been contacted by staff or contractors from element care. We are concerned about social isolation and loneliness, mental health and depression from this isolation, and we're working to mitigate that and support folks' mental health at this time with the HCP Never Alone campaign, which you can find again on our website, harborlightcp.org. This is the program where people are at home, especially kids who are looking for things to do, or drawing pictures or taking pictures, scanning those, sending those to us via email, and we are safely getting those printed or emailed and provided to residents so they have some joy that they can hang on their refrigerators and realize that they're all connected. Frequent communication with residents, frankly, productively, calmly, directly, is ongoing and will continue to ongo throughout this process. And we are also doing some data collection to assess various needs people might have, any shifting in trends related to concerns people have about access to food or other support services. So as a team, Harborlight Community Partners can respond accordingly to, again, meet our core objective, which is to keep people safe and well during this time. So that's really what we're working on as it relates to resident safety. I'm going to shift a little bit again and tell you a little bit about the property managers, the service coordinators, the maintenance staff, and some of the protocol changes we've engaged in. At this point, we've initiated new protocols where we have eliminated interactions between the property managers, maintenance staff, and residents to try to protect the residents' safety. To do that, all of the work orders now are coming by phone. And we are interacting with the residents via phone. We have added hand sanitizing stations at the entrances to the elderly buildings, encourage people to isolate from each other, close down the common areas as described, and asked all non-essential personnel not to visit the buildings. This includes families and friends. The best thing we can do for the residents is keep the virus from infecting any of the residents or coming into the buildings. And so we're asking everybody to stay out of the buildings so we can keep them safe, other than the residents themselves and essential staff. Work orders are now handled by phone, and we're only engaging in life safety work orders. So if anybody needs something done that's related to life safety, we're managing that with the residents so we can keep them away from the staff member while the staff member is performing the work, cleaning as we go in, cleaning as we go out, and then protecting our staff members with the advised hand washing protocol after they exit the building. The supportive service system on the services side is vigorous. We've been focusing significantly on making sure people have access to food. The team on the resident service side has also been evaluating higher priority service needs, residents who are more vulnerable to various issues related to the COVID-19 virus or related to the pressures created by the virus and its pressure on them in different ways, including mental health, access to services, access to food. So we now have a system in place to evaluate that and to track on a weekly basis how the residents are doing and what the needs might be. Ongoing material has been coming through programs like Meals on Wheels, through senior care, so people have access to food. There are other access to food, both based on residents going out during the senior-only shopping times via their own transportation or family or friends. Also, deliveries happening to the building, which I'll describe a little bit later. The idea is mostly to keep the loop closed on access so people can be safe. So the residents, I would say, please continue to remain in your unit. Get outside for exercise if you can. Open the windows. Enjoy music. Enjoy books. Enjoy talking to your family and friends on the phone or on other social media. And we're all going to find a way to get you through this and get each other through this together. We're going to be able to do that. We'd like to give a bunch of shout outs here because we're certainly not doing this alone. So we want to give you some feedback. We want to thank Sperling Interactive out of Salem. Thank you, Mike, for his support in getting our website up very quickly, including our response system, which is right on the top bar of the website that I described earlier, right on the top bar. Please take a look at that and you'll see the different programs and activities and actions we're taking. A huge shout out and thank you to the Open Door Food Pantry out of Gloucester and my good friend Julie LaFontaine. Julie, I hope you're doing all right. And to Beverly Bootstraps and my good friend Sue Gabriel. We have great love in our heart for both of them, and they have been amazing in terms of the work that they've done in supplying the residents in Rockport at Pigeon Cove Ledges and Rockport High School, and in Beverly at Turtle Creek and Turtle Woods with food as they've needed. We appreciate their deliveries and their ongoing work. And we thank you, Senior Care, and all the Meals on Wheels volunteers for what you're doing and getting the food there. Change the protocol around. Sometimes the deliveries are getting dropped at the door, and our great property managers are delivering them. Sometimes they're doing multiple drops, so it might be 2 drops in one day for Meals on Wheels or 2 weeks worth of food from one of the others. But a huge thank you. Big thank you to Custom Medical and my friend Bill Beckman for some hand sanitizer that he made for us right in Beverly in Ward 2, very close to Goat Hill. It's kind of on the line between Goat Hill and Fish Flake Hill. We can't really claim him as a Goat Hiller, but we appreciate him and love him anyway. Thank you to Bill and to Becky for that hand sanitizer. Thank you to MGH and Simmons College, who also have given us emergency masks and hand sanitizer, particularly my longtime friends Irv and Kathy Levy for absconding with those things. I have no idea whether that was legal or not, but I do not care. So thank you for helping us get what we need to keep our residents safe. And it's good to have ride or die friends in these kinds of moments, and the Levys are certainly those. Huge thank you to Yardworks out of North Reading for donating cleaning supplies for our residents. We're going to use a lot of those in Salem at Boston Street Crossing. Tom, we see you. Thank you for all the good work you've done on our properties, especially the gorgeous work you did at Harborlight House a few years ago. We really appreciate it. Whole Foods of Linfield donated a bunch of flowers to brighten the day for our elderly residents. One of the workers there is a son of one of our residents, and they had a lot of flower orders not fulfilled, and that made a lot of joy. Huge thank you to First Baptist Church, my friend Brian Gregory, for holding North Shore Shelter Fest about a month ago. The check just came in this week. First Baptist Church donated $7,700 to Harborlight. Incredibly timely. Thank you so much for doing that, and we're looking forward to next year. And a huge thank you to many others. We really want to thank you who have donated funds at this time, which we deeply need, particularly those of you who are interested in the Mission Builders program, which is really an automatic donation of $10 a month. It's a great way to support us. If you're interested in that, please go ahead and look on our website donation page, and you can check the Mission Builders program, and we'd be happy to have you as a part of our team as we're all trying to keep hundreds and hundreds of people safe this time of year. So thank you for that. There'll be more shout outs to come, but those are the ones on my mind today. So we're really grateful to all our supporters and our board members and our staff and our residents who are looking out for each other. We're doing the best we can to keep you safe. Okay, real estate development and a couple other items here. We have 2 small construction projects going on right now, one in Beverly and one in Gloucester. I see you, Sandy Cook and Nikki. We really thank you, the 2 general contractors who are working on that. These are very small crews. We've provided memos on safety and security related to COVID on the site. Less than 10 people on the site practicing social distancing. That's going to create 6 family rental units close to the train in Beverly. We're about halfway done. It's supposed to be occupied late summer, and 1 first-time homebuyer unit in Gloucester, which also should be done later this year. At the moment, those projects are ongoing, but we're keeping tabs on the recommendations from the state and on how the workers are feeling. We want to make sure everybody is safe and feels safe. It's possible that we're going to have to slow those projects down for a little while as COVID peaks in Massachusetts, and we continue to do our part trying to flatten the curve. We'll keep you posted about that. Regarding the Briscoe School, for all of you who are interested in that and the thousands of students who've gone there and are intrigued about what's happening, we're grateful to announce and thankful to the City of Beverly and the mayor and the city solicitor and the city planner. Grateful to announce with our partners Beacon Companies that we have come to agreement on a purchase and sale with the city related to the Briscoe School, which is going to become 85 affordable senior apartments. I wish we had them all right now, along with a restored theater, 6 artist live workspaces, and restored grounds at the rear of the building and the front of the building, the old turf bowl. So we're trying to make the April historic tax credit deadline to get the first application submission in now. We needed that purchase and sale agreement with the city, and the city came through, and I couldn't be more delighted and grateful. We will start tomorrow with some excavation and exploratory work on the site. If you see us there, that's what's happening. And we will be practicing social distancing with the crews to make sure that we're safe and that the workers can be safe for as long as that's possible. We did have a community meeting on the 4th of March. We thank you for all who attended that. I did want to convey that at that meeting, there was one resident or one individual who later, around the 20th of March, it was known that she became infected. I was at that meeting. Others were at that meeting. To our knowledge, no one else at the meeting was infected. If you were at that meeting and you were experiencing any symptoms, please consult your physician. At this point, we think there was enough time between that meeting and this, but I'm not a doctor and I don't know that, but we felt it's our responsibility to let people know that there was one person at that meeting who later was confirmed as being affected, and she is in the hospital now, and we are all rooting for her and wishing for her health and recovery. We are watching closely other projects that are in our development pipeline. Our friends at the YMCA, we're helping them with the Cabot YMCA redevelopment and expansion. We are eagerly hoping that that project is still going to be able to close this summer. And we're vigorously trying to work out an issue where we can relocate the existing residents so that we can safely, especially now in the middle of this health crisis, so that we can safely begin renovation of the buildings. We've received no word that will be delayed. We heard from the Undersecretary of the Department of Housing last week and from the Secretary of the Executive Office of Economic Development and Housing that things are progressing as per usual. That is great news for us because we also have in that pipeline two funding applications, one for Anchor Point Phase 1 in Beverly, which is the family housing up by the high school, and one for Granite Street Crossing, which is the old Silver Brothers landscaping facility right near the train station in Rockport. Big shout out to the neighbors out there, and appreciate you all and to everybody in Beverly for the support of the permitting of both of those projects. Those are both waiting funding. That funding round should be announced sometime this summer, and we have every indication that's going to continue apace, and we'll let you know otherwise. Maple Woods in Wenham, 45 units of affordable senior housing. Moving along also, we are amending the permit per a settlement agreement on that project. That is before the Zoning Board of Appeals. We've agreed to an extension with the Zoning Board of time during this COVID-19 response. So we're hoping that that will be concluded later this spring. And we continue to support the Haven Project in Lynn, which is going to create a number of supportive housing units for children or for youth aging out of foster care right on Monroe Street in Lynn. And that project is continuing in pre-development and planning. And we're really excited to be working with the Haven Project on that. I see you, Kurt Lang. Thank you for letting us participate with you and for everybody in Lynn. A little bit more information here for you, and then we'll take some questions. Ways you can help us. One is you can participate in the HCP Not Alone campaign and have yourself or your children send art or send pictures or notes that we can give to the elderly residents to mitigate their isolation. We would really, really appreciate that and the encouragement for them. And you'll be able to see that on our website right at the top where there's a COVID-19 response bar. And this is the website in case you're curious. You can donate cleaning supplies that we would use by giving them to the residents so that they're able to keep their own spaces clean and keep everything clean around them. There's a plastic bin out front of 283 Elliott Street, which is a big white house across from what used to be Dick and June's Ice Cream and is now Zips. If you're from Beverly, it's always Dick and June's Ice Cream. But right across the street, big white house on the hill with our logo on the top of it. There's a bin right out front. You can drop donations into that bin. We'd really appreciate that. We'll get that out to the residents. We may need a small group of volunteers to help us make some social phone calls or to deliver food to a small group of residents that are vulnerable and have no other access. If you're curious about that, you can send us an email at info@harborlightcp.org, and we'll get your information and potentially be able to come back to you and ask you for help in that regard. At this point, we still don't know. We do need ongoing donations of funds, as we described. We really appreciate those who've done that, especially huge shout out to Historic Beverly and to my friend Sue Goganian. Thank you, Sue. who recommended us and Family Promise and Beverly Bootstraps for philanthropic giving locally in the Beverly community and wider region at this time. So please continue to give. If you're interested in becoming a mission builder, please check out our website and consider doing an automatic donation of $10 a month. We are always, always, always local. Please support local vendors. If you're doing takeout, if you're doing books ordering, I've ordered my teenager books from Copper Dog on Cabot Street in Beverly. Thank you, Bookstore Meg, for delivering those. She's right over there reading one. I don't know how this works. Reading one right over there on my bed now, listening to me do this. And we're still doing takeout. I see all of my friends out there, Paul Guanci, Todd Rotundo, Callie Basil, Toscana, all the others who are still doing takeout. If you are buying from Amazon because you need supply chain, please consider using Amazon Smile and designating Harborlight Community Partners as the recipient of that donation. As I said, local first, every time, always. But if you are needing to use Amazon, please consider cutting us into that flow. Please share the news. HCP is a really good investment philanthropically in the wider region at this time to help keep local residents who are vulnerable, safe. And we're going to be a good philanthropic investment for a long, long time to come as we try to mitigate and address the region's housing needs. We had a housing crisis before this. We're going to have one after this, and it's probably going to be a lot worse. So please continue spreading the word about Harborlight. You can share our link. You can encourage people to consider donating to us. You can look at, if you'd like, video of the latest update of the Hardy Street construction project that I was talking about. Here's the links. Please consider checking us out on social media or on YouTube, and we'd really appreciate it. So a big shout out to all of you. I'm wishing you all well, strength, patience, courage, mercy for each other, and compassion for those you're in the same house with. Love for your friends. Make sure you're sending love, sharing love. Find a way to eat, to sleep, to find joy in your day-to-day experiences, and continue to be who you are. Keeping integrity and character high. Keeping good humor high. This is a great community and a great region, and we're going to make through this together. So please continue to love each other. We do have a little bit of time. If people want to ask questions, I think I'm supposed to be looking at that. I do have some questions people have sent, which I'll respond to if I don't hear any here. Shoot. My child tells me it's on the bottom. Okay, so a couple of things are the email, if you need it, is information@harborlightcp.org. Again, you'll see that right here on the website or on the thread of comments. I have two questions here. One, Kevin from Middleton is asking, how do you think the impact of the public health crisis will impact the housing crisis that was already going on? It's a great question, Kevin. Thank you for asking it. I think two things to think about here. One is I do believe that the health crisis has demonstrated more fully how integrated and symbiotic the relationship is. I'm encouraged to hear when people talk about essential workers, they're thinking about food service workers, about grocery store workers, about people taking our trash, about people providing daycare, like at our friends from the YMCA who are providing that right now. All of a sudden, all of these people were reminded are essential. People taking care of our elderly parents in institutions, these are the people that are essential, right? All of a sudden. And remembering that they're essential and that we're all connected, and that public health, like water, like air, doesn't care about regional or municipal borders or boundaries. We're all in this together. And so part of what this helps us to think about is we're all in the housing crisis together. We need each other. We need our essential workers. We need to care for our seniors and our workers, and we need to have housing for them to be able to do that well. We're relying on people right now, the very same people who in many communities around the region, we would not be able to permit housing to provide places for them to live. So let's up the ante a little bit on this. If they're good enough to be essential for you in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis, they're good enough to live in your community, which means they're good enough to be able to permit housing for them to be there. Full stop. So how do I think it's going to affect us? I think it could have significant impact on supply chain costs related to construction. It could have impact on the pace of affordable housing development. It could have some good impacts by bringing down the cost of land and supplies, but it could have also very significant pressure if the timeline for affordable housing construction slows down. It's just going to exacerbate the traffic jam that is the supply-demand distinction between people who need housing and housing that's being created. So we're really hopeful that the pace continues and that there's a new enlightenment around how essential we all are to each other and how much housing we need. Thank you, Kevin, for your question. Okay, let's see here. We got another question. Any development news for Hamilton? So for all of my, thank you, Anna Siedzik, who is a wonderful person and worth checking out if you want to look her up in Hamilton. We are working on a site in Hamilton right now. I can't describe what site it is, but I'm hoping that we have a new site under agreement sometime soon. That would be a mix of 1 and 2, 3 bedroom apartments for individuals and families. And I'm very hopeful that we'll have something under agreement this spring and that we'll be able to start talking about it later in the year. So thank you, Anna, for your question and for your person, and tell Dave that I said hello. Okay. All right, Sarah Visnick, thank you for the shout out. I appreciate that. Question here from Lorinda Visnick, another amazing human. Are all the HCP residents aware of all the different food options available to them, community meals, Meals on Wheels, food pantry, etc.? I think the short answer to that, Lorinda, great question, thank you, is I think yes, we've communicated that to them in writing and online multiple times, and we'll continue to do that, as well as in these assessment calls I talked about, where we're making calls to all the residents. We're conveying to them how they can access food in the safest fashion and how they can get to it. So great question. Thank you very much. Okay. Glenn Johnstone. How are you, Glenn? I know it's early in the virus crisis. Will we still be hosting the annual fall event? That's a great question. So we usually have a big annual party, a celebration in the fall, October or November. I think it's safe to say this year that we're not certain what we're going to do, if we're going to do something virtual or something different. I think we want to wait and see how the rest of the issues play out. What I can tell you is we need a couple of things. We need to celebrate and party. We need to celebrate each other and the people who do this good work of providing homes for everybody in the region. And we need to be able to raise money to support that work over time. So we certainly will be doing something, whether that's virtual or a non-event or a shift. We're not quite sure yet, but we hope all of you will be thinking about us as we do this and as we update you in the near future about what our plans are. Thank you, Glenn, for the question. Liz, nice to see you on here. Tell Tom I said hello. Hope you guys are doing well. Anybody else with questions, comments, random feedback, anything people would like to talk about or know about what we're doing? Okay. I really appreciate you all. I love this community. We love our residents, love the staff, the board. I have never been more proud of the Harborlight Community Partners staff or team. We have never dealt with something harder than this, retooling on the fly. We're excited to build hundreds of new units in this community, including the Hardy Street project that's going up right now. Thank you, City of Beverly and Mayor Cahill. The Granite Street Crossing project in Rockport. A huge thank you to Town Meeting in Rockport for supporting that project 3 different times through Town Meeting vote with Community Preservation Committee funding. We're looking forward to advancing Anchor Point. Big thank you again to the City of Beverly and the City Council for approving a 40R district. We're looking forward to helping the Y get 67 units of needed affordable housing up on Cabot Street, including 22 brand new units for people that are in need. We're delighted and grateful for everything that we've done, or that you all have done, and that we have all done together. I do see a question here from Rosa. If I needed to call the Kraft family to secure masks for our residents, would you be willing to put your Giants fandom aside to do so? That's an excellent point, Rosa. I would like to say go Giants, always, as a New Jersey native. I'm happy to root for the Sox, the Celtics, and the Bruins. But I love the Giants forever, and my father would never let me come home again to New Jersey if I ever changed that. So go Giants. But yes, I would be willing to call the Kraft family and reach out. As I often said to my old friend Bob Stoneham, I would dance with the devil himself if necessary to get resources to create homes for people that are in need. And so if that's what that means, then that's what it means. So thank you for your question, Rosa Ordaz. I hope everything is good in Salem and the cat is okay. Last chance, anybody else? In honor of my good friend Don Kelly, who was often the auctioneer, going once, going twice, sold. We're delighted to see you all here today. Thanks for being on our first Facebook Live presentation ever. And thank you for hanging with us. It was my fault about the delay. Bethany Blake is a champ, and I'm sure that we're going to see you again if they let me do this again. We'll see what happens. I have no idea. Thank you to my wing person over here, Lorian DeFranza, who's reading her book, and to my family, my partner, Kanan, Iogean, and Eden down in the first floor, being quiet, which is difficult. The dog is somewhere. I have no idea. You all have a great day. Hang tight. We're going to make it.